It has come to my attention that a lot of people are in 2024 finally pursuing a dream that's been long in their heart and starting a YouTube channel. I've been seeing so many creators that I resonate with so much talking about how they are persisting with YouTube despite how hard it can be, despite the fears of judgment, despite feeling like you're putting so much work in and getting no result. And today I really just wanted to speak to those of you who have just started a YouTube channel or who are wanting to start a YouTube channel and are so close to and just need that final push to start. If there is something in you recently that you are suddenly feeling super called to start the YouTube channel, to take that leap and just create the first video, if it has been something that's constantly been in your heart for so long and you just have not acted on, but there's this desire for you to do it, this is a sign for you to trust that and to do it. If you've watched any of my videos, I'm talking about this all the time. I really understand that fear of judgment and that fear of being perceived as cringe or like other people making fun of you. I've made a lot of videos on that, so if you want to watch those, I'll link them above. Something that has been coming through recently is like, at the end of the day, people will judge sometimes. People also, even if they judge, they don't really fucking care. Everybody is so fixated on themselves and how they're coming across to other people and how other people are judging them that even if they do judge you, it's going to be such a fleeting thought. I read this Carl Jung quote recently. Basically the quote was, and it's not like a original idea, we are defined by what we do, not what we say. And I always think about that in terms of like, it doesn't matter what you're preaching if you're not actually living it out. And try and look at yourself objectively and see, what are you ruled by? Like, what are your actions in your life actually stemming from? Are they stemming from trying to please other people? Are they stemming from a place of fear, or are they stemming from a place of truth? Also allowed me to realize that it's safe being authentic. I think one thing that happens and that's amazing when you do face fear is you come out on the other side and you realize that like, you're fine, you survived. There's a way for fear in our minds to get so big when we're just ruminating on the fears that we have and not taking any action. The worst that can happen is people talking shit on it, and that's always going to reflect more on them and their character than it is on you. And if you're somebody that has big dreams and big aspirations for yourself, and somebody that believes in self-expression, that believes in creative expression, that praises other people and admires it in other people when they're being brave and vulnerable, then that's something that you're going to have to get used to. And I think that's another thing that's helped me as well, is like all of these things that I want to avoid feeling. I just think about the fact that like, if I want to be the kind of person that lives by courage, that wants to live a big life, then those are just things that I'm going to have to become accustomed to and used to, because that's what goes along with the journey. And that's what goes along with being my highest self and being my best self. There are always going to be 1,000 fucking reasons and excuses why it's not the right time to start your YouTube channel, why you shouldn't start a YouTube channel, why actually I don't even want to start a YouTube channel. There's so many ways that the fears in our head can sneakily try and tell us these different stories to prevent us from just doing the thing. You might be watching this video and you might feel really inspired by watching it and you're like, fuck yeah, like I'm gonna do it. And then you're probably gonna have a moment where a fear is gonna come up, because in its nature, it is a scary thing. If it wasn't scary at all, you probably would have done it already, right? There's so many ways our fears try to talk us out of doing expansive acts, of following our dreams, of following what's in our heart. And I just want to address that. Like, do not let the fear in your head, whatever fucking narrative it's reading, whatever fucking excuse, do not let that stop you from doing what you know you want to do and what you know is in your heart. And actually, I just want to talk quickly about examples of like how that fear's manifested for me. In the break that I took in creating YouTube videos, initially it was like I didn't in that time have a lot of creative ideas, so I think that was valid. And I think there are phases in life where you don't have many creative ideas, and that being a part of the creative process though, where you live and have that silence to reflect and allow things to cook. I am a believer in that, but after that it started to become this long window of time, and I started to talk myself out of it by saying like, oh, like I actually, what did I even say to myself? I used to be like, oh, like I want to be like more of like a mysterious person. Like, I don't want to put everything out online. Oh, if I want to be creative, I can like start a blog and share writing that way. Even though I knew that like, yes, I could do that. But to me, that was like a filtered down version of what I'm doing on my YouTube channel. And I think that's another way that fear can come in, is like, it'll offer you a filtered alternative of what you can do. And I think that like sometimes, yeah, a filtered down version of something that you want to do is better than not doing anything at all. But don't let that voice of fear in your head convince you that that's anything other than your fear playing smaller. There's 1,000 excuses you can come up with. I'm sure you could have an amazing excuse in your head. I'm sure it's super convincing. Our fears like to get really smart on us, especially when they sense we're about to do something that's like courageous and scary and exposing and brave. But don't let that fear talk you out of it, and recognize in that moment what that narrative in your head is. It can no longer have the same power over you. Looking at what you admire can be such an incredible signpost to recognizing your values. I'm not gonna name who the guy was, but there was this reality star. By the way, one fun fact about me is I watch a lot of dating shows, like reality TV. I'm actually like obsessed with it. There's this guy that was on this dating show, and he's kind of like a controversial guy, but he was on this podcast and he was just speaking about the mindset he had to start pursuing his big dreams and to go on this dating show and to like, you know, be judged by a lot of people, but like to do it anyway and be okay with that. And even though this guy is such a controversial figure, most people would just see him and see somebody that's like, I don't know, maybe really cringe being on reality TV. But I just thought it was so inspiring. I thought there was something fundamentally so admirable about that. And I think that was a signpost for me to point me towards the fact that like, I have always admire people that live their lives with courage and that live their lives authentically, especially when that authenticity isn't always popular, when that authenticity and expression of authenticity might mean that there are people that are going to judge them or misunderstand them. When I see somebody, regardless of other people's judgments, regardless of society's views, regardless of fear, like actually just showing up as themselves, chasing after what they want to chase after and expressing who they are and not being ashamed of that and being big and taking up space, like that's something that I personally really admire, and they're the kind of people that I look up to. And so reflecting on that points me towards some of my core values. All like the growth and progress and like movement in life and real learning happens in actually showing up and actually doing shit, not talking about it, actually doing it. That's something I've been trying to tell myself in my head too, like, Grace, stop thinking about the fact that you want to do a YouTube video so much, you want to create more, that you're not doing enough. Instead of putting all that energy into like being stressed, why don't you just dedicate 20 minutes this afternoon to work on your YouTube channel? Just take one small step, just do one small thing towards creating the YouTube video. I guarantee you, even if like the YouTube thing doesn't work out, like you're not going to be on your deathbed like, damn it, why did I start that YouTube channel? Like, well, I hope not. I hope you're not, that's not what you're thinking on your deathbed. But you may be on your deathbed thinking, damn, like I always wanted to start a YouTube channel and that was something that I always knew that I wanted to do and I always had it in my heart and I just never did it. What would have happened if I had given it a go? That's what really scares me. Living a life unfulfilled and not having done everything I could to live a big life, to live a life that's authentic, to actually pursue my dreams. If I'm on my deathbed and I know there's more that I could have done, there's ways that I, you know, sabotage myself, there's dreams that I didn't try and follow, that's way more scary to me than to get to the end and know that I gave it everything. If you're thinking of starting a YouTube channel, it's a really challenging journey, at least it has been for me, but it's also a really beautiful one. Because of YouTube, I'm so much more authentic in my real life. It's like accelerated a sense of personal growth for me. It's accelerated a sense of self-knowing. Even on such a small scale, it has enhanced my sense of connection with people. Creative expression is so cathartic, and I find that in the act of creating, I'm always discovering things. I'm discovering things that matter to me. I'm discovering more about about myself. It's also such a beautiful documentation of life, like looking back on old times, old vlogs. Seeing my evolution captured is so beautiful. I would recommend it. If you have something to say, fucking share it. Yeah, I'm just sending you so much love, so much faith and strength on your journey, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it's been the sign and message that you needed to start the YouTube channel in 2024. So, sending you so much love and see you next time. Bye.